This is ENCA Moneyline, your money guide. Now, early birds really do get the cheapest flight when it comes to domestic air travel. But if you don't have the luxury of time on your side when booking your next flight, there are a few tricks to save some cash. Tuesday, for example, is statistically the cheapest day to fly, but there are other ways to stack the odds in your favor, as Yusuf Omar discovered.
Book early or last minute. Buy your tickets online or over the counter. These are just some of the decisions you have to make. Flying cheaply is tricky, but we're going to tell you how.
The aviation industry is essentially about getting bums on seats. The fuller a plane is, the more profitable it is. But as a passenger, there's nothing more frustrating than sitting down only to find out that the person sitting next to you has paid less for exactly the same journey. Well, sitting next to me is SAA's Clady. Clady, how do you get cheap flights?
It is possible to get cheap flights. One of the things that you need to do when you start a conversation with a passenger seated alongside you is to avoid asking them how much they paid. For people to get value for their money, it is important that they take time into account because pricing is time sensitive. So the day on which they travel, the time of the day at which they travel, as well as the period of the season in which they travel, will inform whether they are going to pay a high fare or a low fare. We need to strike a balance between the need to become profitable and continue to be in business, at the same time be competitive in terms of your pricing.
Flying during mid-morning and at night are the least popular flying times and therefore the cheapest. Although we only think in terms of economy, business and first class, there are actually 20 different fare classes for any journey. And of course, like the markets, it's about supply and demand. Therefore, the first passenger to book gets the cheapest seat.
We price our price points so low, so therefore we're fully reliant on operating with full aircraft. So in general, we fill about between 86 and 89% of the seats that we make available. And of course, if we can sell more and fill it better, we will do that.
Airlines know that business travelers will pay top dollar to fly at the drop of a hat. So if you can't book early, look for flights departing from smaller airports like Lanseria, north of Johannesburg. These tend to be less popular and therefore cheaper.
There are a few other smaller airports within South Africa. The issue is always whether they can. The runway is big enough to land the aircraft. A commercial aircraft is obviously a lot bigger than the little charters and that.
In the old days, low-cost airlines would buy old aircraft from America and Europe, slap new seats in and rebrand the bodies. But today, when fuel accounts for about a half your ticket price, plane manufacturers say the business model is changing.
The way to bring down those ticket prices is by operating aircraft that burn less fuel.
But of course they would say that. They're selling new planes. And the final tip to consider when booking a ticket, look out for rewards programs. Apparently, loyalty pays in the aviation industry. Yusuf Omar, Johannesburg.